and welcome to my channel. My name is Nanette. I am a 60-something-year-old woman tracking my financial journey on YouTube as I count down towards semi-retirement. A countdown that has been abbreviated, not to my own choosing. Not necessarily a bad thing, but a week before my 61st birthday, I was informed that my job is being eliminated and I would be laid off later this year. Originally it was going to be March 14th, but now it looks like it's going to be mid-October. So today's video is going to be a review of January spending. And I love the colorful donut chart that you can find in the Reflect tab. And I am going to look at just the month of January, but first we will go over to the income and expense and start with what the income was. I got $32.61 from cash back, $334.89 from my high yield savings account, a very generous birthday gift of $1,000, and my gross paycheck was $15,091.66. for a total of $16,459.16. And as you can see, I actually spent an additional $4,642. I haven't completely reconciled how this, where exactly this came from, but it has to be money that was already in the budget, sinking funds, and the like. I definitely know where 2,000 of it came from, but the remaining 2,600, I'm not going to spend the time on that, as I just don't think it's worth it. So now we'll go back to the spending breakdown. And here it's listed by categories. I'm not going to spend much time here because I prefer to look at it through the group lens. But what we can see here is obviously I am prioritizing retirement contributions and investments. And then it isn't until we get down to, what is this, Social Security tax, contributions to my son's canteen account, more stock purchase plan, that's more investing, federal tax withholding, and all the way down here at the 2% mark is where we start to spend money on me, and that is dining out, groceries, all the rest of the things that it takes to make life palatable, and usually pretty good, pretty content overall. As I mentioned, I prefer to look at it through the group lens. So our biggest group is my Someday Over the Rainbow category group, and this is, again, all of my investments. So 65, 64, 88 went to my standard contribution for the 401k. A little over 3,000 went to the catch-up contribution, 2,000 to my investments, which that was my goal for the year, is to invest $2,000 per month. I had a stretch goal of $2,500 per month. That may be possible using the severance pay after the employment ends, but I am no longer prioritizing this. I'm in the middle of running an experiment to live off of just my emergency funds between now and when my employment ends. And if you haven't seen it yet, I have another video on doing that. It starts in the month of February. Then we have the traditional IRA. I was able to put $2,000 towards that. And then my stock purchase plan, $754.58 went towards that. This should have been twice that, but my second paycheck, I had upped all of the 401k contributions, and it kind of fouled up payroll. So the deductions for the stock purchase plan were not taken out. Neither was my HSA contribution. So this was just, each of these is just out of one paycheck, not two, and there were two paychecks in January. So now back to the groups. The next category is payroll nonsense. So here you can see Social Security taxes were $919.73, federal tax withholding $652.16. This is on the low end because of the pre-tax deductions for the 401k. $215.10 for Medicare, $123.75 for group term life, $107 for medical. Universal life was $76.24. critical illness 6792, dental 2522, and then vision and legal, both of these were fouled up by the contributions updates that I had made on my 401k plan. So these again are only one paycheck out of the two had these deductions taken out. Go back to the groups, and now I'm going to take out the investments. Oh, before I do that, sorry, let me put that right back in. So we can see that between investments and payroll, that came up to, what is that, 79% of the money that was spent last month. Not my gross income, but the actual money that went off the budget last month. Now I'm going to take out both of those category groups just because it's going to make it a whole lot easier to see the numbers. There it is. And make our way around the donut chart. So now that we've excluded those, we're down to, this is more of a reflection of what came out of my net pay after taxes and other deductions and contributions. So 30% went to my fixed cost category group, do good in the world. If we bounce into here, we'll see I don't normally support my son's canteen and other canteen account and other expenses to the tune of over $800, but January was an exceptional month, and we won't see that happen again through the rest of this year. In my Papa Payback category group, we have $69.46 going to his part of my phone plan, and another $200 is just a contribution that I make, just a deposit I make into his accounts. Not that he needs it, it's just a thing that I decided to do a few years ago and plan to do at least through the end of my employment, if not through forever. And then my Share the Wealth category group, it's not a category group, it's a category. This category is where I can treat others to lunch, help somebody out when they need it, whatever it is that I want to do. I took this, shamelessly copied this from Alyssa over at Coin Troll Freak, and I like to use it to strengthen my community connections, if you will. So that one is going to stick around. I will probably not be funding it during the time that I'm living off of emergency funds, but maybe I will. We'll have to see how that goes. But I will be absolutely enjoying spending down the balance. It's got a pretty healthy balance in it. Back to the groups to move on. So that was 30%. And then in my Life Will Out category group, this is pretty much where I spend on myself fixed expenses. So $475.55 for groceries, not unhappy with that. Personal care, $190. I think this was one massage and 2 haircuts. Sundries, $147.90. I think I ran out of bubble bath before the Amazon subscription came through, so you'll see bubble bath, lots of bubble bath being ordered, some shampoo, dishwasher pellets, something from Walgreens, only God knows what that was, deodorant, more shampoo, probably the same thing happened there, and a Far Side calendar just because, why not? And gas, $59. This is a little more than usual. I'm usually under 50 for the month. I have a hybrid and don't drive all that much because I work remotely and don't have a need to. But look at me getting out in the world. And then medical out of pocket, that looks like it would have been just a prescription refill. And that was 21%. Then guilt-free spending. I have 2 guilt-free spending category groups that add up to 30%. Oh, again, that's 30% of my net, not my gross. I'm not unhappy about that either, especially considering how much went to investments. So helping hands, this would be getting cleaning service a couple of times a month, and then paying a friend to come help me with things around the house that require more than my own 2 hands and the strength of my own back. I have a lawn service that comes once well, once a week in the summertime and once every couple of weeks in the winter. And we just have an agreement that I pay a constant $175 every single month throughout the year. Monthly garden service. This is one that I'm probably going to cancel during the emergency fund experiment, but I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. And Whole Foods delivery fee of $9.99. The monthly garden services help with the raised beds that I have out front and out back, and I really don't need that service as much as I used to, and it's an easy place for me to reduce expenses. So, but I'm very loyal to the small mom and pop company that provides that service, so it's a little bit harder than it probably ought to be for me to let go of that. In my next guilt-free spending group, this is the, well, no, it doesn't matter. This is the play harder category group. And here we have Feed Me. I have overindulged in eating out. This was somewhat in reaction to the unexpected layoff. I'm not going to feel bad about that. I am feeling I'm not even going to say, maybe I am a little bit disappointed in myself, but also fairly good food choices when I have gone out. And that is part of my coping strategy, and it's working for me. So I will not torment myself. I'll just acknowledge it and move on. Fitness was actually a little bit low in January. I usually have personal training costs. So we must not have met as much as normal, and I must have been ahead in paying for that service. So we'll see that bounce up actually I'll probably see it bounce up significantly in February, because I'm going to buy extra personal training sessions in February and then use my Be Well reimbursement from work to claim my benefit. And last but not least, $5.36 on garden supplies. Next up, we have the work hard category group, and this is just the bills that you have to work for. Power and water came to $302.07, car insurance to $140.29. Then we have my sinking funds. So this is not what I budgeted towards sinking funds, but what I spent out of sinking funds. So we have $33.34 for my cell phone, and I think this is probably either the second to the last or the third to the last payment on my cell phone. And then home maintenance, what did I spend on? Oh, here we have there's a garden community that I belong to where we meet monthly, and this was the annual fee for that. Money well spent. I probably could make an argument for spending that out of a different category, but who cares? It doesn't matter. That will do for right now. Then we have subscriptions. I am looking to potentially cancel my Netflix subscription because I don't really use it, and why spend the money? I know a lot of people rotate through their subscriptions, their streaming subscriptions. All of these are shared with other people, even though, well, except for the New York Times audio that I canceled already. They don't reimburse me. That is another opportunity that I have if I really need to look to reduce expenses. I'm not sure how much I really do need to reduce expenses in order to make my way through the semi-retirement. I think that's a knee-jerk fear reaction. Whoops, already did that category group. So this experience of looking through my January spending helps me to see that just a little bit more clearly. YNAB in general helps you get better clarity on where your money is going. I'll admit to the fact that my mind is still a little bit scrambled because of the unexpected layoff. So I'm just taking it one step at a time, making sure that I'm looking at the numbers, getting as clear as I can on them, and not beating myself up. So here under business operations, I don't really generate business income right now, but when I converted from a contractor to an employee a couple of years ago, I never got rid of the business operations category group, and now I'm glad I did, because I should be generating some side hustle money and any other opportunities I have for generating income sometime after the employment ends. Possibly not this year, just because the severance pay is going to put me into a higher tax bracket. So we'll see what happens, though. Long story short, glad I left the business operations category group where it was. So here we have 5186 for my cell phone, 51 for internet, 1642 for office supplies, which is what I'm curious what this is, HP, ink, and calendars for the year. Then we have $8.99 for my cell phone insurance. How many of you actually subscribe to the notion of insuring your phone? I usually don't get any extended warranties or anything, but probably every other time I buy a new phone, I sign up for the insurance, and obviously did this last time. I may cancel that soon. We'll have to see. And last but not least is the $2.99 for iCloud storage. I think that takes us to the end, right? Because that was our business operations. So why? Oh, okay, I see what's happening. So 3% was on business operations. It's showing me the last group that I touched. And then here on subscriptions, if I back up, yeah, 3% on subscriptions. No ships will sink, 4%. And then if we look at all of those, what was that? 4, 3, 3. So that is 10% plus 10% in the work harder. That's 20%. And then 41 and 71. So 71% of my, that's not helpful. I was kind of trying to tie this back to the Ramit Sethi conscious spending plan, but you can't make a direct correlation from the spending breakdown in YNAB. I guess maybe if I put those two category groups back in, which I think it was select all, does select all get me there? I could kind of make that correlation out of here, but it's obviously very skewed because of the throwing all of my pay in the second paycheck of January into 401k contributions. So it's not really that meaningful. I say we call it a wrap. This was that is all the money that I spent in the month of January. Nothing too terribly exciting. February might look a little bit different because of the experiment using just my emergency funds. So I might make a spending breakdown of the entire year of 2024. That could be my next video. We'll just have to see. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. If you liked what you see, please like and subscribe. I appreciate you spending this little bit of time with me, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.